Hi, and welcome to Historical Legacy. Here, we dive into history's most intriguing stories, unraveling mysteries, and uncovering truths from the past. Subscribe to join our journey through time's greatest moments. Today, I will be narrating a short story on Donald Trump. First, we will begin with a short introduction. Donald Trump's presidency was a whirlwind of unfiltered communication, unorthodox decision, and unprecedented controversy. A businessman and a television personality turned politician, Trump brought his brand of brashness and disruption to the Oval Office, reshaping American politics in the process. This narrative examines his rise to power, the key moments of his presidency, and the impact of his leadership in an era defined by polarization and populism. All right, let's begin with the early life and rise of a business tycoon. Donald John Trump was born on June 15, 1946, in Queens, New York, to Fred Trump, a successful real estate developer, and Mary MacLeod Trump, an immigrant from Scotland. Growing up in a wealthy family, Donald was introduced early to the world of business. His father's real estate company focused on developing residential properties in the boroughs of New York City. From a young age, Trump showed interest in business, taking after his father, and was encouraged to take a leadership role. Trump attended the New York Military Academy, where he honed his leadership and discipline. Following high school, he enrolled at Fordham University and later transferred to the prestigious Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania, earning a degree in economics in 1968. It was here that Trump developed a passion for business and his entrepreneurial spirit began to take shape. In 1971, Trump took control of the Trump Organization, his father's company, and began transforming it into a global real estate empire. He made his mark in Manhattan with the development of Trump Tower in 1983, which established him as a prominent figure in the city's skyline. His larger-than-life persona and relentless self-promotion were integral to his business strategy. Trump's ventures, however, were not without setbacks. He faced financial troubles in the 1990s, with several of his properties, including casino, declaring bankruptcy. Despite this, Trump managed to maintain his wealth and reputation, and his ability to rebound from financial difficulties became a hallmark of his career. The next part: political beginnings and the road to 2016. Donald Trump's political involvement began in 1980s when he briefly considered running for president as a Democrat, although he never followed through. However, it wasn't until 2011 that Trump made his first major political impact by promoting the birther movement, which questioned the legitimacy of President Barack Obama's birth certificate. This campaign raised Trump's profile among conservative voters and positioned him as a vocal critic of the Obama administration. In 2015, Trump launched his presidential campaign as a Republican, surprising many political analysts. Initially viewed as a fringe candidate due to his lack of political experience and controversial statements, Trump quickly gained momentum with his populist message and his appeal to working class Americans. His platform focused on immigration reform, job creation, and rejecting political correctness. Trump's stance on building a wall along the US Mexico border became a central theme of his campaign, resonating with many voters who felt that the country's immigration policies had weakened national security. Trump's campaign broke from traditional political norms. He embraced a combative, unapologetic style, often using social media, particularly Twitter, to communicate directly with his followers. This direct approach allowed him to dominate media coverage and remain in public eye. Despite his inflammatory rhetoric, which included calling for the banning of Muslims from entering the country and disparaging various ethnic groups, Trump's message resonated with many Americans who were frustrated with what they perceived as a stagnant political system. In the Republican primaries, Trump emerged victorious over a crowded field of experienced politicians, securing the nomination despite initial skepticism from the establishment. His austere, stated, and anti establishment rhetoric gave him an edge in the political climate yearning for change. Alright, the next part is about the 2016 election, where he's defying the odds. The 2016 US presidential election was a defining moment in Donald Trump's political career. Running against the well established former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, Trump's candidacy was initially dismissed by many political pundits as a publicity stunt. However, as the race progressed, Trump's campaign gained traction, particularly among voters who felt disconnected from the political elite. His slogan, "Make America Great Again," resonated with blue collar workers who felt left behind by globalization and automation. Trump's populist rhetoric focused heavily on issues such as trade, immigration, and job creation. He promised to renegotiate trade deals, withdraw from international arguments, and bring jobs back to America. His tough stance on illegal immigration, including his pledge to build a wall along the southern border, was one of the key promises that energized his base. Despite controversies surrounding his campaign, including his inflammatory remarks about minorities and women, Trump's unorthodox approach to politics helped him stand out from the other candidates. The election was highly polarized, and both candidates engaged in a bitter, often vitriolic campaign. Trump's ability to connect with working class voters in key swing seats like Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, which had traditionally leaned Democratic, ultimately propelled him to victory. His outsider status and unfiltered persona helped him appeal to those who felt alienated by political establishment. On November 8, 2016, Trump won the Electoral College, defeating Clinton by securing 304 electoral votes to her 227, despite losing the popular vote by nearly 3 million votes. Trump's victory stunned the political world, with many attributing it to his ability to tap into frustrations of disillusioned voters and his effective use of social media. Next is the presidency, his bold policies and polarization. Donald Trump's presidency officially began on January the 28th, 2017, following a historic victory. His tenure was characterized by bold policies aimed at fulfilling his campaign promises, particularly his America First agenda. Early in his presidency, Trump took significant executive actions, including withdrawing the US from Paris Climate Agreement and implementing a travel ban on several predominantly Muslim countries. These moves were framed as efforts to protect American interests and sovereignty, but they drew sharp criticism from both domestic and international sources. Trump's approach to governance was unconventional. He often bypassed traditional media channels and directly communicated with his base through Twitter, where his controversial statements and attacks on political opponents became a hallmark of his presidency. His policies on trade, including the imposition of tariffs on China and other nations, were designed to reshape global trade dynamics in favor of American workers, although they sparked trade wars and economic uncertainty. Domestically, Trump pushed for tax cuts, which culminated in 2017 Tax Cuts and Job Acts, aimed at reducing corporate tax rates and stimulating economic growth. However, his administration faced significant challenges in healthcare reform and other domestic policies. The Republican controlled Congress struggled to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act, a central promise of Trump's campaign. Trump also faced criticism for his handling of race relations, especially following incidents of violence at white nationalist rallies, while he was accused of not strongly condemning hate groups. Despite these controversies, Trump maintained a loyal base of supporters who appreciated his direct approach and his efforts to challenge the political establishment. The elections of 2020 and the aftermath. The 2020 president election marked the culmination of a turbulent presidency for Donald Trump. He faced former Vice President Joe Biden, who ran on a platform of unity and restoring the dignity of the office after years of divisiveness. The election took place amid the ongoing COVID 19 pandemic, which significantly influenced the campaign. Trump's handling of the crisis, including his mixed messaging and delayed response, became a major point of contention. While Biden's campaign focused on public health and economic recovery, Trump's re election bid centered on his economic record before the pandemic, claiming that his policies had created jobs and reduced unemployment. He also emphasized his tough stance on immigration and law enforcement. However, the pandemic overshadows his campaign as the US struggled with the virus spread and the ensuing economic downturn. Trump's rhetoric on the virus was criticized, and his public downplaying of the severity led to accusations of mismanagement. The 2020 election saw an unprecedented turnout with a record number of mail in ballots due to the pandemic. Biden won the popular vote by over 7 million votes and secured 306 electoral votes, defeating Trump's 232. Despite the result, Trump and many of his supporters falsely claimed widespread voter fraud, culminating in the January 6, 2021 Capitol insurrection, where the mob of Trump supporters stormed the US Capitol in an attempt to overturn election results. This event led to Trump's second impeachment, making him the first president in the US history to be impeached twice. Although he was acquitted by the Senate, the aftermath of the election and the storming of the Capitol deeply divided the nation. Trump's presidency left a lasting legacy marked by significant policy achievements, unprecedented controversies, and an enduring divide in American politics. With this, I wrap up my short story on Donald Trump. Thanks for tuning into Historical Legacies. If you enjoyed this dive into history, please like and subscribe and share. Join us next time for more fascinating stories from the past. Thank you very much.